Have you ever felt lost, confused, or indecisive, and then suddenly a feather just appeared in your path, and instantly you just knew the answer to all of your questions? Or maybe friends and family keep buying you animal themed things, and you're wondering, why do I have like 10 pairs of frog knickers or owl cushions? And you want to understand, why is this animal turned up in my life? Or perhaps an animal has appeared to you in a dream and you're wondering, what does this symbolize? What does this mean? How can this help me with my current challenge or obstacle? This is why I have created the YouTube series Animal with myself and guests. It's going to offer you insight into what is the magic, the myth, the medicine of the animal kingdom. What does it mean to have a spirit guide that is a particular animal, and how can they support you in your life's journey, in your healing, and in your connection to self? So whether you are seeking an animal guide, or you want to understand yours better, or maybe even yourself better, or perhaps you're just curious about the symbology, the mythology, the wisdom, medicine, and magic of animals, then this is the perfect series of interviews for you. An easy and accessible way to understand the relevance of animal spirit guides to you, along with practical tips and tools for integrating the wisdom of animals into your everyday life and into your spiritual practice. Now let us fly, gallop, and dive into this episode and the support and inspiration that will empower you. Hello, so welcome to this episode of Animal. So I'm really excited that I have Brianna Godberson on in this episode. So I'm a big fan of hers, and look down her bio below after, because she has a great podcast and also a fantastic clothing line that is on my Christmas wish list. And so she's going to be sharing with us about bear and the wisdom, the magic, and the medicine of bears. So welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Rachel, for having me. I'm so excited to be here and be on this series that you have. I've really been looking forward to it and loving all the animals that you focused on so far. And it's an honor to be doing the bear with you.
Oh, thank you. And I'm going to try not to be like fangirling Winnie the Pooh, because he's like my most special connection to bear. So,
Well, everybody has that special connection, right? Yeah.
And I think that bear really kind of it does stick out as like having that spiritual emotional connection for people. Like I said, even down to the teddy bear. You know, how many people have a teddy bear, you know, and have had them for hundreds of years, and they become so special to people, don't they? And that image of the bear is kind of stuck in our consciousness, our psyche, because of that. You know, we all have a bear in our heart somewhere, I think. So
yeah, absolutely. Even when you said Winnie the Pooh, like I loved Jungle Book growing up. So Baloo, I had a big stuffed animal that was like a half life size bear named Baloo that I was obsessed with. And again, with like the teddy bear symbolism, right? Like I feel like everybody's grown up and has had a teddy bear. So the subtle symbolism of the bear has, I think we've all grown up with that too. So that's a good point.
definitely. Okay, so let's get down to the bare necessities.
Yeah.
So, what is the magic of bear? So, how can they inspire us, and what do they teach us?
Yeah, so it's funny because I feel I've connected with Bear the most since becoming a mom. And so in my mind, I really connect with Bear in a more feminine energy, which I think would probably most people, or maybe some people, would have a more like, masculine connection to it. They think, oh, bear, super fierce, super, and I do think that way as well. But I think that the bear's maternal instincts really come forward. They're very resilient animals. They're omnivores, so they live and they eat off of, plants and meat. So they're really resilient animals, and especially the moms, they say mama bear, very protective and wise. Seeing some of these mama bears like go up against these big males just to protect their young, the courage that they have to be able to do that, and the ferocity. So there's so many elements of bear that I connect with in regards to like how they behave as well. So um, there's just a lot of, I would say there's a lot of symbolism in regards to, how they live about the world, right? Like they go into hibernation so they know when to rest. That's a really big part of honoring our cycles, right? And even as, and I think that that can just relate to human beings in general, that we all need our rest. We all go through cycles and seasons. And I think that the bear really showcases that in a really beautiful way.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think the image that we have, of bear is the mother bear with the cubs, isn't it? That's one that we kind of we have exposure to the most, I suppose. And because I think they're quite, aren't they quite solitary otherwise? I mean, you said about protecting from the male bears. I mean, we know obviously we both love wolves, but obviously they live in a
Right.
pack. But you don't tend to see that, do you, with the bears? They seem to be quite solitary.
Yeah, they are. They are mostly solitary. So, except with the mom bears, that they usually stay with their cubs for around 2 years to be able to teach them. So they also hold a lot of wisdom too. But yeah, they're mostly solitary otherwise. So they really only get that social interaction either when they're young or mating or fighting. Um, it's usually bad news when they encounter others.
Yeah. Gosh, so really that stage, kind of like you were saying about cycles and seasons of the mother, even going through that period, then like you said, you relate to them as the mother, perhaps, people that have bear come to them, that maybe that's something that's being called within them, or maybe the mothers that are watching this, whether that be a mother of children or projects or books or ideas or whatever, maybe bear is something that they could call on, as an example.
Yeah, absolutely. And you definitely don't have to be a mother in the sense where, like, of course, like I have a son, so like that's how I related. But any sort of creative thing that you put out into the world, I think is a really good point. There's a lot of energy and time, right? And being spent, and resources put into, what you're creating, which is what Mom Bear does with her cubs. And why she's so fierce to be able to protect them. So there's so much symbolism around, being protective of over what you bring out into the world, right? But then also the wisdom that you're able to put into that, right? And
Mhm.
kind of just having like your heart out there, right? Like I was reading a quote the other day that's like, having a child, or in this case, um, creative thing that you're putting out into the world, uh, having your heart outside of your body in that sense too.
Yeah, so in that case, you need that ferocity of the bear, don't you? You need
Yeah,
that fierce protection of yourself, and then what you're birthing and what you're creating as well.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I kind of like oh, you saying that, I'm thinking of like, like I talk to my students like with flower essences about like the diva of your business, that protective guide of like, your business, or of a creative project, or of your home, or whatever you call it, in the Roman we call it the geni, or the genius. But I imagine like when you were saying that, I was imagining like bears, I can imagine them standing around something, almost like protecting, or like the mother bear, coming in and just standing in front, like haha.
Yes, and my clothing brand Femme Sauvage, it means wild woman in French, but I think that I have a couple of designs with the bear on it um because of this ferocity, and I think that it also in a feminine way showcases how we can, be in our true selves, like our wild woman selves, um protecting what's true to us, right? Like that bear represents, like, I'm not changing for anybody. I'm standing in, my ferocity, protecting my sovereignty, protecting who I am, and I'm not going to give that up either. So I really love the bear as a symbol because I think that there's so many different ways that one can really relate to the bear. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting as well that women are connecting to this idea of the bear, you know, that we're needing this ferocity and this courage and this strength now in this world. And I really admire, being a mother kind of in this modern kind of sometimes a bit of a mess. What's going on? Authority figures, not perhaps a great example. And I was thinking before when I was thinking about bear, is that it used to be connected with King Arthur, in ancient Britain. And he used that idea of the warrior and the leader was the bear energy. It was the bear that they associated with that, and several kings of England as well was the bear energy. Then also you get like Artemis, who's connected to the bear, and she's that fierce, like I always feel like her like a mother. Me and Dr. Carla were discussing about this, like, though she's called the maiden, she's very much there for helping women to birth, like we've mentioned, she was kind of a birthing goddess. And yeah, I really feel that kind of that powerful kind of energy. I mean, I feel that coming from you because to me, you feel like quite a powerful kind of leading kind of, but in a motherly kind of way.
Thank you so much. That's such a nice thing to say, and like such an honor. So, thank you. And yeah, I think that it's interesting, right? Like again, with like the King Arthur symbolism and mythology, there's a lot of Eastern, like I guess like Slavic regions that have tales of women marrying the bear, and how the bear was always very respected in cultures. I think that there were times where maybe they did hunt the bear, but they really treated the bear very, very well and only took one. Like it was a very symbolic thing that they did in that region. And then I think that they also did that in Greece when I was talking to Dr. Carla as well. And Artemis also was very much protective of the bear, and the bear was that symbol for her as well. The in Boron, I don't know if you guys talked about this with Dr. Carla, but women would go through a ceremony and they would be called Artemis's little she bears, and they would actually strip their wildness and go and be able to let that go in order to go into marriage. So it's funny that in that case it's kind of reverse on how we were talking about how it symbolizes the ultimate wild, the wild woman inside, like how the symbols change over time as well.
And isn't it funny that they were stripped of that to go into marriage? And I feel like now as women, we're all running back into the forest.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Back to reclaim that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So when it comes to bear, do you have has bear been with you like your whole life, or is it just one that has, as an example or as a favorite, we call them like spirit guys, but some people just have them as like a totem animal as another name. Has it always been significant for you, or did it come in a particular moment or time? I mean, you mentioned about the motherhood, but
Yeah,
how's it impacted your life?
Yeah, I would say that bear definitely came to me more recently. Um, Obviously I've always had those like kind of subtle background symbols like we talked about in the beginning about having a teddy bear and relating to certain characters. But not in like the sense that I feel like I have the connection now. So I think that that really came about with doing more and drawing more and connecting more, because every time I draw a piece of art for my clothing brand, it does make me connect to that animal more. I'm always like learning and getting, kind of enveloped in, in the inspiration, and also being able to, like, something just really after motherhood, really made me relate to the mother bear so much. And there's little videos of them laying on their back, and the little cubs are breastfeeding from her, and like the gentleness she shows. It's like she's one of the fiercest animals in the animal kingdom, and yet she's so gentle with her cubs. It's like this total balance, which is something that I just love about the bear energy for me. And I think that another one of the subtle things that has always stuck with me, though, is I don't know if you guys have the constellation by you, Ursa Major and Ursa Minor. So I have that, actually. This is one of my designs based off of that. But you know literally just in the night sky, always there, always watching. And like that symbol again of mama bear and baby bear, that was always probably my most prominent symbol. And then it's funny how, over time that grows, and because I relate to bear as a mom, then that's how that really came into my life, that energy.
Yeah, beautiful. No, that's really lovely. And so yeah, so if anybody's watching this, perhaps, and you relate to this, maybe you want to be a mother, or you are a mother, like we said, there's so many different ways that you can mother. And then perhaps bear might be a guide that you might want to look into, or a symbol. And even if you're a man watching this as well, I think that that fierce feminine energy might be
Yeah,
might be useful, because we have all of that within us, no matter what our chosen gender or biological gender. We have all those potentialities, don't we, of feminine and the masculine, all the various beautiful mixes that we have, so we can access that yes feminine, that primal feminine, can't we, whenever we want to. So even, I mean, I know they say mother and father, but I think fathers can also mother.
absolutely. Yeah, it's just an easier way to, I guess, like, designate certain roles, but that doesn't mean that, in our physical bodies, that we have to, function like that. Every single person inside has a masculine and feminine energy, and we both go back and forth on, and we should have a balance, right, on the inside. So even if you're not a mom, there's so many ways that you can still relate to bear, like we talked about, like the cycles, like honoring your seasons, and not pushing yourself too hard, because I think that the bear also really truly symbolizes rest as well, like knowing when to rest, and um being able to accept that, because we're in such a modern era now where it's always like go 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 go. I'm from New York, so everything's go all the time. But being able to be like, no, I need to rest. It's really important. Or, there's that famous saying that if you don't take the time to rest now, your body's going to force you to rest at a different time, and you're going to push yourself too hard. So definitely honoring your body, like listening to your body. Like, bears very much in their selves, right? In their bodies, and noticing when they have to rest, and honoring the seasons.
Yeah. So have you found that a challenge in your own life? I'm just thinking for people that are relating to this, and maybe they'd like to
Yeah,
hear from you. Have you found rest and hibernation a challenge, and how have
absolutely.
you kind of maybe remedied that or worked with that, and has Bear helped? What ways has it helped? How does it tell you to hibernate well?
I absolutely love this question. I think that it's really great, and I could 100% relate, because again, like I said, I'm from New York, and my mom growing up also, like, love her, but she does not know when to rest. She could definitely use more restful bear energy in her life. But in that way, it's funny too, because again, I connect so much with the ferocity of the bear as well. So being able to protect my rest, in that way, right? So being able to be kind of like ferocious and be like, no, it's my time to rest now. And just being firm in my boundaries, right? Like, that's another great thing that the bear represents, is boundaries. especially when they come into each other's territory, like, nope, this is my space. You have to honor that, right? So even in the sense that we're talking about like being able to honor space to rest, it's definitely taken me a very long time to be able to be like, no, I don't have to actually like earn rest. Like, I'm a mom, I'm going all the time. Like, I just have to listen to my body. Sometimes I can go. Other times I'm like, I need to rest, and then other times it's like, okay, maybe like we can push it a little bit, right? It's all about balance, but you have to be able to listen to your body to know when, okay, like I can push myself a little bit today, right? Like, it would be nice to go to the gym or go work out or just go for a walk, like, or maybe get up early and go, walk in the woods. Okay, yeah, I have to push myself a little bit. Of course, I'm going to be a little tired, but there's going to be a joy in that, right? Like a bear probably doesn't always want to get up, but they're going to get up to go find food because they're hungry, right? So being able to balance that little push, but then also knowing, okay, I need to rest. And then if somebody's like kind of judging you for resting, also going into that bear energy and protecting that in a not in a super aggressive way, but just being like fierce with your boundaries and be like, no, I need to rest today, sorry, let's catch up another time, or whatever that situation is for you.
Yeah, no, it's so important. I think in modern day, I think it's got worse and worse. I love history, and I look back, and these people, they do work a lot, but then I think they're they were physically working a lot, weren't they? Whereas now we mentally work a lot. So it's a different kind of rest that we need. So in the past they would work 5-6 days a week, they'd have one day off, but now we're on like, oh, I can see a dog.
Oh yeah, sorry, that's
I was like, is that really a bear? Oh no, it's a dog.
actually, we call her Claire Bear. Claire, come here. Come here, say hello, come on. Can you see her?
Oh gosh, yes, you do look
my
like a
my
bear.
100-pound Newfoundland.
Oh,
Yeah, but
adorable.
people joke all the time that she's like, oh, is she a bear? Basically. So very appropriate that she decided to
Yeah, definitely.
stop in.
Yeah. We don't need to say anything. We can all just look at the bear dog. We'll go, oh. So we have a different kind of rest, I think, that we need now, and it's about this overstimulation. I think, like, kind of
Oh yeah.
the engine that we're working from now is so much the brain. So the kind of rest that we need is different. So sometimes it's not physical rest. So I love what you were saying about kind of going out into the woods and walking and doing physical activities, moving like the bear, because you know that actually, although we think we're tired, are we physically tired? Actually, probably we're, most of the time we're mentally tired, and the walking in the woods is going to give this a rest, even while the body's still moving.
Yeah, absolutely. It's unfortunate I live somewhere where there is no bears, unfortunately, anymore. But it doesn't matter. You can still go out and like think of that bear energy as you're walking, and I think that there's like pictures of bears just looking out at the landscape and saying how that bears can probably appreciate like beauty and nature, which is kind of cool too. And you can do that like just walking through the forest, and like as you're walking through the forest, like you would be seeing what if a bear was like, if you're envisioning yourself as a bear, like you can pick up like, oh, all the birds chirping, or there's a deer walking in front of me or something like that. It's amazing what that kind of reset does, especially when you go in the morning before like everyone's awake. I've been specifically looking for otters because that's like the only cool thing by me. But not the only cool thing, but like just, in regards to searching for wildlife, new wildlife I haven't seen yet. But yeah, there's nothing like a good walk in the woods to get like the fresh air and to be able to connect with that energy and reset yourself.
Yeah, and go find a good cave and just like hide there for a few days.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes if I'm walking in the forest and I look at a spot, I'm like, that looks like it would be a great place to rest if I didn't care about ticks or anything like that.
Going out and making a nest and getting some blankets and, yeah, snuggling up in the woods. Oh, sounds
Yeah.
good. So you've been traveling a bit, haven't you? And I know that you've seen lots of different wildlife. Have you ever encountered bears, and what was that like if you did?
Yeah. So I visited my friend Aspen. She's a wildlife photographer and guide in Alligator River, wildlife refuge in North Carolina, and it's kind of near the Outer Banks for people that don't know, I guess, where it is. So, uh, it's more south, down past New York, but we saw a bunch of different wildlife there, and we got to see a bunch of different black bears, which is very interesting down there. She refers to the bears as basically like cows grazing because all they do is eat corn all day, and they're in this kind of like sweet spot climate where they're kind of like one of the only bears that don't, or like type of black bears that don't hibernate because it gets pretty warm down there. They kind of just like rest, they half sleep, I guess. So, but the first time I actually ever went down there, the first time I ever saw a black bear, the black bear, we turned the car off, and obviously, I always say, keep a respectful distance from wildlife, and we did. And this black bear just came across because on either side of the road, um, there's water, like swamp. So he went down into the water and came up, and he shook his coat, and he just walked really slowly. And there was just this peaceful, content energy that he gave off that it was just so amazing to be in his presence and just like observe and be that close to an animal. And you guys both respect each other, and you're like, okay, great, like this is amazing. So yeah, the energy to me, at least this one particular bear, just gave off such like contentment and peacefulness. I was like, oh, just what a beautiful animal.
And how amazing that I think it's a tribute that it was able to feel that in your presence, because so often animals kind of fear us because we are the biggest predator. Like, I'm always gutted when I go into the woods and like everything flies or runs away, and I'm like, no, I'm Snow White, and they don't stay. So how nice for that bear, actually, I think, to have that calm energy, that content energy. I think that's a real tribute.
Yeah, and it goes to my friend Aspen's testament because I just followed her lead. She really was the one who like, knows what to do, like shut the car off, shut the engine off. We keep everything quiet and respectful. When you go into that place when you're in the woods and there's also like this energy that's like if you respect them and give them their space and just like honor them and not try to like call out to them, you'd be surprised that the kind of energy that you would get back just observing them in their space when you respect them.
Yeah, and perhaps that's a huge way that we can give back to the animal kingdom and bear in general, is just having that respect of their space, honoring their boundaries, the boundaries we were talking about before, because we are cohabiting, and in fact, I think they have more right to this land than we do, and we're often the intruders, and they're just going along living their lives.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. It kind of reminds me of that very famous thing that kind of went viral a little while ago is the, women always choosing the bear, right? As well. And, I feel like I've seen so many videos of people coming across bear in the woods and they encounter them and they're like, hey, no, turn around, like go the other way. And like they're just slowly backing up. They're again respecting their space, giving them, and then they almost always just very calmly walk in the other direction. And all the comments are always like, and this is why women choose the bear. And it's funny how this bear again is like this ferocious figure, right? This like, and like you said, you brought up like King Arthur, so it can still be very masculine. I mean, they're like powerhouses in the animal kingdom, but that if you respect their space and like you give a little back and you're like, hey, go the other way, then they're really respectful too. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we can learn from that as well, I think, with respecting each other and allowing each other to be in their power, like, and I think this is part of healing the sister wound. Like, as you were saying, I was thinking about all the little she bears of Artemis that you mentioned, about kind of allowing other women to be in their power, celebrating that, honoring that, and just giving them space to know that we can be in our power at some point as well, but we can all be those little she bears together.
Yeah, absolutely. Come back to our wildness.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So out of all the bears there are on the planet, we have polar bears, panda bears, black bears, brown bears. Do you have a favorite bear, like a bear that just stands out for you that you love, and why as well?
Ooh,
Like choosing between children, isn't it, that question?
yeah, I don't know. And then there's also there's sun bears and there's moon bears, which I love because it's kind of very mythological. All the way in the east, in Asia, even in Women Who Run with the Wolves, the crescent moon bear is a big story as well. So, and I love that because they kind of have like moons on their chests. But I feel like just like a brown bear is just my favorite. I think that also over time, when I was younger, I was like, oh, brown, like what a basic color. And now I'm like brown. It's like it's got such depth, like there's so much like soil, bear fur, like there's just so many things. And I just love the brown bear, and she's got to fight off, especially the mama bear's got to fight off all these other males and their fierceness. Something about that, I just love the brown bear, just classic brown bear.
Well, imagine you like in if you ever watch Brave by Disney.
Yeah,
I'm just imagining
yes.
that as you now.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about Brave, but duh. Yeah, like great bear symbolism and like connecting again, right, with like mom energy and being yourself, right? Like Braves, that's the whole basis behind that. So, yeah,
Yeah, and
I
these
love that
threads
movie.
run through, don't they? Like, you find the symbolism or cult of a certain animal again and again and again. You like that's not like a cliche or a mistake. There's a reason for that, because that is their inspiration, their power, their magic that they're offering us to embody by witnessing them, by, kind of, this is how I live, this is my example as an animal. But actually I think that everything that we learn, we're imitating nature somehow. I think that nature teaches us more than we teach nature. It's definitely kind of that's where we get
Yeah.
it from. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's funny, that reminds me of the Vikings as well, that they would, the berserkers, they would put on a coat of a bear, and I guess I don't know 100%. They took something to make them, I believe it was either mushrooms or something else to make them believe that they were the spirit of the bear and go into war, into battle, right? So that bear energy again, the ferocity, I guess like charging at the enemy in that way. And yeah.
Yeah, they literally help us to embody to be brave.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Ah, wonderful. So, say somebody's been watching this and they're really inspired, and they really want to connect to bear. I know you've mentioned a few things already, like perhaps astrologically, like Ursa Major and Minor, or walking in the woods. But what tip would you give somebody if they really wanted to connect to bear as a animal, spirit guide or a totem? Like, how would you advise them to go about beginning that embodiment?
Yeah, I think that it really, I would definitely start, and I think that this can be done for everyone, whether you're male or female, and then you could go into it deeper as you will. But again, it's and we already kind of brought this up, but following your seasons, right? Like, and maybe you don't have as much physical seasons by where you live, but in different times of our lives, we're gonna have different priorities, and different physicalities, like what we're able to do physically, right? So being able to be in tune with your body and your own seasons is really important. And I think that the being able to focus on the bear while you do that is just a really healthy reminder to focus on that. And then again, if you are in your, if you are a female and you go through your monthly cycles, being more in tune to your monthly cycle. So going deeper into your own personal seasons as well. Everything is, I think bear really represents like being in your body and just recognizing like, what is my body feeling today? Maybe taking a moment, like, sometimes bears sit at the top of a hill and just notice the beauty. Like if you can sit down and like, you don't even have to meditate, but just focus on what's going on in nature around you, and nature will kind of maybe give you advice, and you'll be able to hone in more on like, oh, what does my body feel, or it might just clear your mind to be able to do that.
Wonderful. So sounds so good.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get some of that. Oh, fabulous. Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for everything that you shared. And thank you for bringing forth the wisdom, the magic, and the medicine of bear. It's been really wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Rachel, for having me. This is so much fun, and I'm going to be thinking about like bear energy now the rest of the day. And it's just such a great animal, great symbol. So I hope that people can really relate to bear in that way.
Great, thank you. And if anyone has any further questions, or anything you want Brianna to kind of elaborate on or share more about, or just anything you're curious about, any questions you may have for me or her, then please do just pop them in the comments down below. We'd love to hear from you. And if you have any kind of bear experiences you want to share, or let us know your favorite bear, or I especially want if you've got teddy bear pictures. I want
Oh,
them.
yes.
And yeah, please do share them, send them to us, and we'd love to hear from you. So thank you, Brianna, for being here, and thank you everybody for watching. And do check out all the other episodes. There are lots of episodes about all of the different animals that we have in our animal kingdom that are offering us their myth, their magic, and their medicine. So do check them out, and thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you in the next episode.